I'm Daniel Harris. I am an asset manager of 20 years in Australia. I currently work with a fire and emergency response service for rural areas in a state government. I have responsibility for managing assets worth approximately $500 million, including 450 fire brigade sites, 1,300 emergency vehicles, tens of thousands of specialist equipment pieces, and we cover all areas including both fire response but also hazmat and road crash rescue. The key challenges were a lack of asset management focus historically within the agency. The data was extremely poor, being disparately collected by multiple regions in different ways. Data was stored sometimes in the dedicated asset management system, sometimes in people's own spreadsheets. There was one person who was storing their information in secretarial shorthand, which made it impossible to access completely. There was a lack of focus on asset management as an ethos and very much a prioritisation of work being related to the emergency responses, not administrative work. There was staff disengagement because the existing asset management system was very hard to use, and consequently there was no view from the top of the organisation downwards as to who had what and where our assets were. There were vehicles which were unregistered out in the wild, basically being used for emergency response on the state's roads. Other challenges included a lack of cohesion with auditing. Some regions would be collecting different types of audit information at different times about different assets. So again, the leadership had no view about the state's condition of their audits or their compliance. The buy-in was absolutely critical from the staff and leadership to ensure that we were meeting the targets that the leadership required, but we were also bringing the staff along on the journey. The system was then built using what's called a straw man or a prototype version, which could gradually be built up and expanded to actually replicate the work that the staff and the leadership require the system to do and make it relevant to their daily work processes. The system also provided a focal point for change within the organisation. Because there became one way to record assets, one way to maintain them, one way to dispose of them, everybody knows what their job is and actually is able to account for their workloads. The project has been transformational for the agency. Not only have we met the requirements of the Auditor General, by implementing ISO 55001 principles, we've actually exceeded the requirements that were laid out for the public sector in our state. The agency now has the cleanest database in its history. It's got staff who are now fully informed about the assets that they're interacting with. It has maintenance schedules which are now pre-programmed and ready to go off the bat as soon as the asset is added into the system. Statutory compliance is now taken care of by the fact that we know what we've got, where it is, the condition it's in, and ensuring that it is maintained as being compliant with statutory regulations. I would wholeheartedly recommend the Hardcat Lebosi solution, but also I would recommend Hardcat as an organisation to work with. They very quickly became a trusted partner for me and for the project team within the agency.